Hey people. Me and two friends of mine just saw Spider-Man 3 last night. We joined the masses who watched it. It gained 148 million in its first 3 days. Up till now it's gotten, it broke the record obviously. Up till now it's gotten 227 million. That's unbelievable. Spider-Man 3 is an excellent movie. It's better than 300. Not Spider-Man 300, the movie 300, period. And it is an awful movie. It is really cheesy, in the best possible way. It is hilariously cheesy and very well made. Great effects, great everything. Let me start from the beginning. First of all, when you get into the theater, you see the opening credits. If you have not seen the first two movies, I would suggest you close your eyes because they have a montage of clips from the first two movies in the opening credits, and they basically give away the endings to both of them. I had to close my eyes during the Spider-Man 2 sequence because I have not seen Spider-Man 2 yet, even though it's flying around here somewhere, you know. You got three villains in this movie. You got number one, Osborn Jr., the son of the Green Goblin, who is at the start Peter Parker's best friend. Then he turns bad and turns into like the Green Goblin Jr., tries to kill Peter Parker. Then he gets a bump on his head, forgets that he hates Peter Parker, and he's back to being his best friend. Then he sees a ghost, which I think is the first time I've ever seen a ghost in a superhero movie. He sees a ghost. And this ghost tells him, "Hey, don't you remember that you hate Peter Parker?" And he's like, "Oh yeah." So he's turning back. If that seems confusing, it's not, believe me. Second villain is Sandman, the guy who can turn himself into sand, which obviously makes him invincible because the second you punch him, he goes. But I don't know how sand can punch you. I guess the sand's still on him. So this is one of those villains that they have a lot in movies. It was a really annoying villain who are ruthless, really, really ruthless, and it's all pardoned because, hey, this guy has a sick daughter at home. He's just trying to take care of her. And they're like, yeah. Do you take care of your daughter by killing cops? Or are you trying to like feed her pig blood? Does that help her get better? Is that like what the doctor told you to do? I would say rob a bank or get a job. How about getting a job? Dummy. So of course he's a good guy, even though he kills tons of cops throughout the movie, which is not a bad thing, but he's the good guy. And he's just misunderstood. Alright, third villain, the one that's most advertised in the thing, in the credits, is Venom. He's a parasite from another planet that attaches itself onto Peter Parker, and tries to take over his body and soul, and it's introduced very nicely. I love coincidences in superhero stories. Peter Parker and Mary Jane are making out in the forest of all places, and this meteorite falls right next to them, and they don't even notice it. And the black parasite is on the asteroid, meteorite, whatever. And as they jump onto their bike, this parasite hops along with them and hops onto their bike, onto his bike. Then tries to take over his body and soul, and lots of hilarious stuff happens. No, not really. Let's talk about Tobey Maguire's acting, which is awful. I think he did it on purpose so he wouldn't have to go and make the fourth Spider-Man movie, so they can hire like that guy who plays Wolverine or something. The biggest laugh in the whole movie is whenever Tobey cries, and they never show Tobey crying for comic effect. It's always serious, and he always does it hilariously. If you want to see Tobey Maguire dancing jazz and James Brown, watch this movie. Another good thing about this movie is that, another cheesy thing about this movie is that when Peter Parker is good and bad in this movie, I mean, Spider-Man has a good and bad side in this movie. Whenever he's good, he has his hair combed over like here. Whenever he's bad, emo baby, I'm so bad. He also has weird emphasis on his words. Like, somebody says, my father's dead, right? So he goes, yeah, I gotta buy you a beer. No, he just goes the yeah part with this huge smile. It's very weird. Let's a little bit more things to wrap it up. You see Kirsten Dunst singing jazz, obviously lip syncing, because first of all, the person, she doesn't have such a deep voice, and the person who sings obviously has a deep voice. She sings, I never wanted to, blah blah blah, and she's going like this. You can obviously tell she's lip syncing. You can barely get a word through those lips, let alone singing. Did I mention that Peter Parker, Spider-Man's alter ego, works in a newspaper, and a rival newspaper man prays to Jesus that Spider-Man will die. I mean, not Spider-Man. He prays that Peter Parker will die. He's like, please God, kill Peter Parker. And this is not played for comic effect. This is totally serious. The end is very annoying because you think that they have a beautiful shot and it fades out, and you think it's the end. Then they go into another unnecessary scene where they give you like they're at some grave and they give you lots of preaching and stuff. Then they fade out of that scene. We think it's going to be done now. Then they have another very, very unnecessary scene, and they fade out of that one, and it's finally the end of the movie. This was a good action movie. They tried to put too much drama in it, which made it terrifically cheesy and terrific. It's hilarious and good action. Great effects. Peter Parker, Tobey Maguire crying is the best thing that happened to comedy in the past zillion years. And the guy who plays Sandman looks a lot like Henry Rollins from the Rollins Band. And was I going to say anything else? Yes, they obviously have some comic stuff that they put in here on purpose. Aside from the stuff that they didn't put in here on purpose, they put in here his landlord with a Polish accent going, hey, maybe you'll buy me a pizza sometime. And it's like, our accents are still funny. Are they still funny? They are? God. What kind of a world are we living in, huh? See you. Hope you enjoyed my review.